Now we're going to be wrapping up the persuasion. The last few modules have been all about persuasion, and this kind of wrap up. He's going to have a couple of additional points, and then we're going to do a summary. One of the things he talks about is being dramatic, especially if you're in sales. You need to be interesting, but it applies also to personal. Nobody likes boring. Boring is not fun by definition. So what you need to always be thinking about, is there a way for you to get your points across or in your interactions to be interesting? The best way to do that is think about movies. Movies, if they're boring, they're not going to make money. Well, life is a little bit like that too. If you're boring, you're not going to get the promotion. You're not going to get the recognition. You have to sort of and even in a short period of time. That's why commercials are also a good way. You got a minute to make your impression. In the world of entrepreneurship, we always talk about the elevator speech. Can you get your message out in a 1 minute or 30-second commercial rather than a 3-hour movie? But you want to be interesting. Now, what we sort of mean by that is, there's a concept in marketing called a hook, story, and close. Well, a hook is what gets their attention. So when you're going to make your big point, usually it's some kind of benefit that's going to get the other side excited. Let them know there's something to look forward to. And then you tell a little backstory about why this is a big deal, or where you got the idea, or why it works. So you tell your little story. And then finally, you ask for whatever action you want. In a sales situation, you'd ask for them to purchase. But let's say we want to go to a restaurant to eat. Well, our hook is, well, gee, are you as hungry as I am? I'm ready to eat. I could eat a horse. Oops, I shouldn't have said that. My wife would get mad over that. But, instead of just saying, let's go eat, well, come up with, again, wave your arms around a little bit. Be excited. Raise the tone of your voice. Act like you're excited to go out. And then you might tell a little story about here, gee, I heard this really good restaurant. They just opened up. They just remodeled and blah, blah, blah. And they're Italian or it's seafood and it's the best in town. There's the story. Now the close is, let's go. And you don't ask if they want to or any of this stuff. No, do an assumed close. Just, they're going to want to do it because I made it sound so exciting. And I told them the hook, they had good food and so forth. And I think you probably get the idea. Last thing is create a little competition when you're asking people to do something. Expect excellence. I think we're going to have a great time here. Put some kind of a challenge out. Let's all go do this now. And that's sort of the final stage of the drama, is the final car chase at the end, where they catch the bad guys. And look, we won, and walk off into the sunset as winners. That's kind of the attitude. Okay, with that said, now let's do a quick summary of kind of all the one thing before we do the summary. He had one other little example in the book that I thought was a good illustration of some of the people skills and how you could use it in a typical business situation. Let's say you want to collect an uncollectible debt. So the side on the left is kind of the traditional way that a lot of companies do it. They write a long letter, or they talk on the phone. We're here to collect a long overdue bill. And they're going to emphasize how, look, you owe us the money. We're right. You owe us. And you're wrong. And if you don't think you do, we're the experts. You're not. And pay now or else we're going to sue you or send you to jail or whatever. So it's really not a very soft and fuzzy kind of letter or a phone call. Now, that's one way to do it. And that will work. You will get some results. What Carnegie suggests, however, is the right side, where, okay, I'm calling to find out what oh, have we done something wrong? We noticed you hadn't paid the debt, and we just wanted to find out a little bit what's wrong. Is it something we did or something we didn't do? Are you unhappy with the product or service we did? So you start off that way. That's much softer than you owe us all this money, and give them a chance to talk a little bit. Hear their side. Maybe it's something we did wrong. Maybe they're not happy with the service, or they have a question, or so maybe it's something other than the obvious. They just didn't pay us. Maybe they didn't get the bill. That's happened to me where somebody sends me a letter saying I didn't pay, and I don't remember ever seeing the bill. I used to travel a lot, and I'd be gone, and something's in a pile. I'd come back, and 2 weeks later, there's a stack of mail. I simply haven't gotten to it. And now you call me or send me a letter telling me I'm a deadbeat. I'm never going to do business with you ever again. And it's not that I couldn't pay. It's now I don't even want to pay. And if I do pay, I may pay you, but I'll just never do business with you. If you do what they show on the screen here as on the left-hand side, you might collect your money, but you're not going to have a long-term customer. So on the right side, it might be simple as I just didn't get around to it. I'm sorry. And then they'll be very apologetic when that's happened to me. I tell them, I'm sorry, I just didn't get to it. I'll go do it right now. Now, so here's their side. Now, if the situation is unique, let them tell you about it. Okay, they have some particular, they lost their job, just some monetary thing, a health, maybe they were in the hospital, they had a heart attack, and they've been out of it. They were on vacation, or they were traveling, my example from earlier. Let them tell you about it, give them a little sympathy, and then appeal to their sense of fairness. Get agreement first. Everybody agrees that, okay, they got the product or service, they owe you the money. We all agree on that. And because you're a fair-minded person, you're obviously going to pay. And you're going to be happily willing to send us money or give us the credit card number. But all that stuff on the right, I didn't beat you into the ground. I didn't call you a deadbeat. I asked you to do the right thing. Remember in the pre-framing concept a couple modules ago, we said appeal to their better angel, so to speak. Be the good angel instead of the bad one. Well, if you approach it the way we've just described, you are going to be much more inclined they're going to want to work with you and pay you. If you approach it the negative way, maybe out of a sense of anger, they'll simply, well, I'm not paying you even though I could, and take me to court, go for it. So a lot of how you approach them will frequently impact how it goes back the other way. Okay, here's the summary. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because, again, in your notes, you should have all this stuff. But avoid arguments. Never tell people they're wrong. If you are wrong, make sure you admit it. Start friendly. Get a series of small yeses. Remember Socrates? Let them talk. If you let them talk enough, they'll tell you how to sell them. Try to get them to think it was their idea. Always see their point of view. And let them know you're listening and understand their point of view. Be sympathetic to their position. Appeal to the nobler motives, as I just described. Be dramatic, so you're not boring. And then finally throw down some kind of a challenge. Let's go do this. Or why don't you just pay it now and get it over with? Or why don't you just buy it? We illustrated all the reasons it's a great idea or a great product. Let's go do it. What do you say? Let's win one for the Gipper or whatever. So with that said, the next one will be an entirely new module, and I think you're going to enjoy it.